Now that the recoil update has been available for a few weeks, I'd like to share some key things I've learned. To briefly summarize the key changes first, many guns now have easier recoil, but many automatic weapons, most notably SMGs, have random recoil in the pattern, most often horizontally. Also, the holo sight accuracy stat has been reduced significantly. There is also a significant recoil reduction when crouching when compared to standing, but only a minor penalty in recoil when strafing compared to standing. The recoil also has some interesting behaviors when evaluating single shots or short bursts. For example, spraying the AK, the recoil kicks up and to the right, but this only occurs after the first few bullets. So when tapping the AK, you only get vertical recoil and the shot placement is very consistent. Likely, the aim cone worsens over the course of the spray pattern, but is very accurate in the first few bullets. In 2-shot bursts, it's similar with just a minor kick to the right. I suspect tapping or 2-shot bursting the AK is likely to be viable, if not preferable in some circumstances. The M2 is similar, with the recoil kicking up and to the right and 2-shot bursting skewing a bit more off directly vertical. The homemade LMG is the same, but mirrored. It's also similar with the LR, which primarily has vertical recoil with some random horizontal recoil, but when tapping, that horizontal recoil doesn't seem to kick in. But that behavior doesn't exactly translate over to all weapons. SMGs have more random recoil even in the first bullet. You still get more consistent shots when tapping, but the recoil won't necessarily be any easier. In fact, as I looked deeper, it seemed all pistol bullet weapons have some amount of random recoil in their first shot, making them more challenging to tap with. The remaining 5.56 weapons, the SAR and the M39, also had some random recoil in their first shot, with the M39 being by far the worst and the SAR being hardly noticeable. The end result of all this more clearly puts effective ranges on guns, as well-executed long-range sprays are less viable with so much random recoil in many guns. This means snipers are now ideal for long range, while 5.56 weapons like the SAR or AK have an advantage at medium range and can stretch further with tapping. But SMGs still have the DPS to win at short range where their aim cone and random recoil is less punitive. Still, I suspect the meta shift will go further. A skilled player will likely be effective in the following categories. In what situations to spray, burst, or tap? When to strafe instead of crouch, and how well you can execute the strafe. When is the right time to bring and use each gun knowing their effective ranges? As different guns will be more useful in different situations, the ability to pick up and quickly adapt to a different weapon will be meaningful. This is more than just adjusting to different recoil, but also different ballistics, as not only do pistol bullets and 5.56 have different velocities, they'll also have different velocities depending on the gun they're fired from. Lastly is basic positioning, when to engage, how to rotate, how to shift a fight to favorable terrain, when to hide in a bush or simply just hold W. This has always been key in Rust, but I think with effective ranges shrinking for a lot of weapons, it puts even more emphasis on it. I personally think this has been a positive change for the game and have long since been disappointed with the Rush Tommy meta. But I also think the tuning has room to mature and needs to be dialed in a bit more. Let me know what you think, and I'm particularly curious what weapons you now find more desirable. If this has been helpful, please consider liking it, and if you want more, feel free to subscribe or even comment with topics you think I should dig into. Otherwise, thank you for watching.